Periods. Let's talk about it, okay? And so that's what virgin actually means.
It's just gotta stick together.
What do I always say? Listen to your pussy.
She never lies.
Sister Strain here.
Your favorite feisty feminist filmmaking duo.
You're listening to The Sister Strain.
Okay, so in typical Sister Strain fashion, we are again very fired up.
Let's start off by saying our hope for this podcast is to be very hopeful and inspiring. The reality of that is that life goes everywhere on the spectrum, and we will also be going everywhere on the spectrum because we are multifaceted women with a range of emotions and thoughts.
We believe in full and authentic expression, and so today something's happened that's more than a little upsetting, and of course I'm going to let you lead because you stumbled upon it.
Well, to start off, we'll preface by saying this isn't the first time this has happened. Kat and I were actresses for many years in Toronto. Starting in our late teens and going into our early 30s when we made the transition to do more of the directing, writing, filmmaking work. But definitely being in the industry came with its standards, as everyone is aware of. Thinness is the model that is desirable for a woman on camera.
Yeah, we have always been a little bit outside the ideal Hollywood body type, but for a while in our 20s, we could sort of toe the line because we were twins, we were fit, we did, try different diets, and we made sure that anytime we went out and represented ourselves, we were, in perfect sort of character costume. Our hair was perfectly curled, we had makeup on, when we really played the part.
Now, in the last couple years, we, for one, made a choice to change the direction our life was taking. We got very clear on what our voice is, what our messaging is, what we wanted to say with our art. We also got very clear that we no longer wanted to be looked at just for our body image, but we wanted people to start hearing our hearts and our minds and our
what we have to say, what we think and feel about the world.
And that was a more important messaging for us. And also, as a woman who goes into her 30s, your body and your metabolism just change for a lot of women. Yeah.
We don't look the way we did at 21 anymore, and we're not supposed to. Dare I say, no one is supposed to.
And although I think we eat the healthiest we've ever eaten in our life, we love vegetables, we eat a lot of protein, and we work out the most consistently we've ever done in our life. I mean, there's never been a point in our life where we haven't been very physically active.
I don't honestly think our bodies are anything different than what they've always been. We're just embracing them fully and choosing to not wear makeup and not pay into the male gaze as much as maybe we did in our 20s.
And so over the last couple of years, our, let's call it following on our Instagram or our YouTube channel has shifted quite a bit. There's a lot of, thankfully we weeded out a lot of men who we knew were following our content just for, the eye candy expectations of what they want to see from a woman on social media. And a lot of people fell away because they were like, now they've started running their mouths and we don't want to hear them talk.
Yeah, and so long. Farewell. That's totally fine with us.
And so there's been a couple moments with a couple comments that have come through of people who used to be fans of ours, who followed us, or followed our YouTube channel, followed our social media because they saw us in Carrie or they saw us in Twinsanity or Winona or Todd.
Yeah. So Twinsanity was the last big professional project that we were hired for as actresses. We were 26. We had both just gotten out of terrible long-term relationships. We were miserable. We weren't eating very much. And I'd say we were about 30 pounds lighter than we are now.
Yeah.
Okay, so a little bit different. Also, we're just 26. So you still have that, the youthful glow about you in a very different look. And even then, there was a lot of comments when that film came out from people noticing our thickness or, how our body type was different than the usual. So we've always known that, and that's fine. Now, a lot of people on our page are still expecting to see that version of us, which is, we're almost 35. So it's very outdated.
And I think we get told a lot in our life, and I think it's meant complimentary, although it always feels a little weird when we hear it, and it's been from men and women over the span of the last 7 years, I think, who tell us that we're very brave, that we're brave for the way we present ourselves. We're brave for the projects that we do. We're brave for the way that we speak about the things that are important to us. And
the way we stand in our fullness of who we are.
But usually is in relation to bearing ourselves, our vulnerability with, and showing our bodies the way that we do and being comfortable with them. And I find that just, I don't know how to describe it. Just
it's just human. We're all just supposed to be living our lives authentically.
It's a shame that it is looked upon as brave
and unusual.
And at the same time, I'm like, I wish more people felt comfortable to be quote unquote brave.
Yeah. Well, and so anyone who has followed us as actresses hasn't seen us since Twinsanity, that feature, because our latest project was our film that we self-produced, which is very representative of who we are as women, how we look now, the ways we think and perceive and experience the world. And it is not yet out. It'll be out in May. Yeah. And so anyone who's been looking at any of our content has not seen us act in anything for a while. And I get they might still have this idea of what we look like and how they think we should be representing ourselves.
And sitting in this chair right now, I saw that because we just put our ad out for our podcast. So
to preface this, we posted on our YouTube after a very long time a little promo video for this podcast.
And the reason we're sitting in this chair to speak on it is because I imagine when we do have our film hit the airwaves, hit the streaming platforms in May 13th, where it's scheduled, I do imagine that we will see some negative commentary about
how we've let ourselves go
and how we don't take care of ourselves and we're lazy and we don't work out and we don't have good diets. The age-old things we tell ourselves based on how people look.
The bullshit women carry, because I'm sure many women can relate to this. When in my 20s, I hardly worked out. I ate like crap. I drank. I didn't take care of myself. Mm-hmm. Now in my 30s, I treat my body like a goddess vessel, which it is. And my body still doesn't look as thin as it did in my 20s. Now that says nothing about my health or the value I put in myself, how motivated I am, and how hard I work on the things that I want in life.
But I think it's sitting here today and talking about it is that kind of a warning sign of like, be prepared.
Yeah.
If you're going to put content out, you're going to get people who send messages like this. And Kat and I are big advocates of being bold and brave and being comfortable in your skin and standing in it. But the truth is that it does hurt. We're humans. Yeah. We're not robots.
And look, we know we're not the first people to be trolled by some coward weasel on social media, and we won't be the last. But we did want to share this one, as it's hitting very personally today. So, like I said, we had posted a little video, a promo video for this podcast, and this was the feedback that someone thought they should post.
What is this? They used to be beautiful sisters, but now there's no trace of them. It is rare for cases to deteriorate to this extent. I recommend a diet. It's better to lose weight. Although their face is fine, it is a waste. A long-awaited beauty is ruined.
Okay, and what the fuck does that mean, long-awaited beauty? I don't know what you were waiting for, sir, but it was never arriving.
Yeah, that's right. And I can't help but get a little emotional from it. And even though I'm like, I should be better, I know better, so I should just be stronger about it. My heart breaks, not even for you and I, even though it hurts. Like, my heart breaks for the women all over the world who have to deal with this, who have the most ridiculous standards to live up to that our society just loves to get their claws in and rip them apart. Like, I mean, even sizing, when we go to buy stuff and we're in size larges, and sometimes those are too small, or like every store you go to, the pant size increases and increases. And I'm just like, what do a lot of women in the world wear? Because these, like, the sizes don't make sense. And then they make you feel like there's something crazy wrong with you.
And, well, it's just obscene that it's like this, you get praised and lauded for how much you can minimize yourself, how small you can be. And before we move on, first of all, let me just say, you little weasel dick out there that wrote this comment, if you're still following this page, you should probably go ahead and unfollow it right now. There is nothing here for you, okay? You don't deserve the pleasure of looking upon our goddess forms, let alone think that you should comment or criticize them. So,
you just try to, like, and I also just find it so disheartening because I'm like, of our entire lives, not to like toot our own horn, but like we're doing what I feel very proud of, to be doing the most like work that I've ever done in my life.
We know who we are, we know what we want, and we're really aligned.
Integrity and authenticity, honesty. We're very vulnerable. We're putting our poetry out and getting it published. We're actually trying to care more about the world and become more educated and become more knowledgeable, to put ourselves outside of our own experience, to learn more, to grow more, to be better human beings, to be more supportive and encouraging of all kinds of women all over the world. And I'm just like, you can't see that? You will only look for the package. Like, you want us to look this one way. It's okay. We're allowed to do that as long as we look a certain way. But the minute our body changes, it's like, no, we don't want to hear from you. Yeah. Stop talking.
The disappointing thing about the feminine experience in general, regardless of what you do or how much you do or how amazing you are, usually you'll be judged first and foremost based on the image you're presenting. Mm-hmm. How skinny you are, how beautiful you are, if you fall in the lines of what's considered ideal under patriarchal standards. And this is something that always kind of riles me up, and I have to remind myself this every time, because we all do it. I also scroll social media looking for someone who, weighs the same as me, or has the same curves, or, can just justify my existence in some way. And I try to remind myself, what if instead you chose to love yourself so much that you became that beacon for anyone else like yourself who's looking for their own representation?
I remember I wrote a poem, I think when I was 30, when our bodies were starting to change and I was noticing it, and we were still trying to, really be actors then, and hadn't quite changed our paths. And it was, I look at images of starlets past and wondering if I fit the mold, if any of them allow my version the ability to exist, as if, looking to... like, well, if there's a model, if there's someone out there who has something similar, who is successful, then that means I'm okay.
Then
like,
it's okay. I'm doing okay.
There's a spot for me. They did it, so I can do it too. And it's like, you can't. Maybe you're not supposed to fit the model that's already been made.
Maybe you're creating a new one, or maybe you're supposed to be the beacon for other people like you to say, oh, now I feel seen and like I fit because I'm similar to her. Not that we should be looking for that, but instead of shitting on ourselves, what if we just, accepted that we're not here to fit in. We're here to represent something different and beautiful and unique, all of its own, and also be a beacon of light for other women who are looking for that representation.
And I think another of the lines was, I look and my fit's hard to find, and I wonder what I have to give up to obtain or to buy it. And I think that's really big in our society of like wanting women to be small, wanting them to take up the least amount of space, to not use their voices.
And why do we want this?
Or to constantly be weighted down with like, buy this and this, do this and this.
Hate yourself.
What you're doing isn't good enough. You need to do this so you can change, so you can look different, and then you'll feel different, and then you'll be more successful. It's like all these things we tell.
So I always think about this under patriarchal standards. Why would it be beneficial for a woman to constantly want to berate and criticize and minimize herself? Why would it be beneficial for us to be as small as possible? Well, one, it's much easier to control and manipulate someone who hates themselves and is constantly only focused and worried about how small they can be, how little space they can take up, and how much they don't want to create waves. And also, if we're spending every second and minute of our day worried about how many calories we're consuming and how many steps we make and what size jean we fit into, and if I'm as thin as she is, or that means I'm a terrible person, then we're completely turning a blind eye to everything else happening around us and all the ways that we're being oppressed.
We're not doing more research. We're not looking for, we're not stepping out to look at the world. We're not getting ourselves involved in politics. We're not
creating art.
We're not getting involved in social justice causes. We're not confident enough to speak up and use our voice and say something when we see something. It's like,
and you know what? I think we do have voices. We know what we're here to say. We're going to keep fucking saying it. I'm not going to waste my time counting my calories and trying to make my body smaller so that dumb men on the internet can be satisfied with the form that I'm presenting. I'm going to keep reading and writing and sharing and listening and growing and learning with my other sisters so that we can all work harder at rising together and creating the change we want to see in the world.
And just for the women out there who might be listening, like, I am so from the bottom of my heart sorry that this is the experience that so many of us in so many ways in our life have to stomach regularly, and then have to find the strength inside of us to be stronger, to rise above it.
And to not want to hide away and
I hope you know that you're not alone, that it happens a lot, and we have to pull it out of ourselves to kind of rise above it. But like, we're there with you. Yeah. We see you.
We're not sitting here and saying, you know what, the easy way to self-love, and we know exactly how we can fix this. We don't have that advice. As you can see, this is still upsetting to us today, and women deal with this every day. So we still haven't figured that out, but maybe together we can, find some good solutions for combating it. So,
and maybe we focus, men or women listening, everyone listening, compliment the women in your lives more. Tell them they're doing amazing. Give them compliments that aren't looks-based too. Although everyone loves to hear they're beautiful, or they look amazing in what they're wearing. But like, can we find compliments about how intelligent they are, how interesting they are, how wonderful something that they did, their contributions are.
The way they light up a room or make people feel seen and valued.
If we start looking for that more in people, and also be unafraid to verbally give acknowledgement when we see it, I think that can go.
We all hear enough negative.
We won't ever be able to stop the trolls, but we can counteract them a little bit by trying to be more positively reinforcing the good that we see in the people that we have around us in our lives.
Yeah. So we don't have any advice here, but hey, if you have any advice, then, please send us a note and let us know what you do to combat the internet trolls and build self-love in yourself.
Yeah. Thank you for tuning in today. We love you. We see you. You're amazing. You're beautiful inside and out. And let's
all spread more positivity.
Let's figure out how to be kinder to each other.
You've been listening to The Sister Strain.
If you've got something you'd like to share with us, reach out to us. contact@sisterstrain.com.
Yours in sistership, The Sister Strain.